Alright guys, so moving on to an experiment.
Yay.
Yay.
So we're not taking homework?
No, I'm going to wait till the end of the class. If not tomorrow, or not tomorrow, Tuesday, okay? Alright guys, so I have some water in here. I have measured the water. I'm not going to tell you what it is, because that's one of the things you are going to be finding in a second. Take it from you. Okay, so here's some marbles. First of all, you guys, they're all the same size. All of these marbles are the same size, same weight, same everything. Okay, they're all the same size. So many some marbles. Hope it doesn't spill anything. What's that? The color doesn't matter. You're right, they're not the same color. Okay, so maybe some marbles. So when I add marbles, which is actually one of the discussion questions I want you guys to discuss in your tables in a second. When I add marbles to this beaker, this cylinder, what is true about the increase? What is happening to the water height? Okay, so just talk to your tables for like about a minute. When you get one,
I like sitting over here.
Her cheeks are like out to here. I'll show you a picture. Alright guys, so let's finish our conversations. Just finish your conversation. Okay, so Bakaya, what did your table come up with? What did you guys, when I had marbles, what's happening?
The water rises.
Water rises. Can you tell us your analogy? What was your example you were using?
Like when you get in a tub and the water rises.
Yeah. I was telling them like my little baby. Like I put her like a little baby tub. I put her in. I was telling them she's like a chubster. Remember the big head? So I put her in, like the displacement is like huge. Like the water comes out. So you're right. Okay. So I added 3 marbles. So you guys, in a second, I actually did this a couple of days ago. I already found the height of the water. So when I had 3 marbles, I did the data for you guys. The height was 6.2 centimeters. Okay. Then I added 1, 2, 3, 4 more. So how many marbles now? 7 total. 7, right? Just counting. 7. I already did the height. I did it a couple of days ago, like I said. The height was 6.4 centimeters. I did the data for you guys already. Okay. So, another discussion question I want you guys to discuss in your groups is this one. What can you conclude about the type of function that models the relationship between the number of marbles and the water height? So just talk to your tables, you guys. What can you conclude about the relationship, again, between these marbles and the height of the water? Just have a conversation, a couple minutes. Sure. After you. But after you with your partners. To get a good effect. Because we're actually going to write it down. I think so. We're going to do next one. So just this one. Functions that we've gone through class. We can negotiate yeah, I'm just going to follow as you want. Okay guys, so finishing your conversations. So I'm going to have this group, Anthony, what did you guys come up with? What kind of function is this?
A linear function.
And why is that?
Because every marble is the same height, size, so it will change every time by the same marble.
You guys don't get that?
Yeah.
Did you guys hear the back? No? Because the reason I'm asking if you heard, in a second you guys, the same questions, you're going to have to be writing them out. So we're kind of discussing them now. So can you tell us one more time, okay?
It's a linear function because every marble is the same height and same length, so it would change and the constant it would change.
Same. Actually, next week, you guys, we're going to do the same experiment, except instead of having the same size marbles, I'm going to have rocks. They're going to be like different sizes. Like one will be heavier, one will be lighter. So then it wouldn't be just constant. It's something different, which we'll talk about next week. And then we're going to compare the two. Okay. That's the second question, linear. Strategy, you guys. So I didn't tell you what you're supposed to do. Some men, some marbles. What's one thing you can find? What do you think I'm going to ask you one thing to do? About this, just don't give me any math. You don't have nothing math related right now. Nothing technical. I added some marbles. What do you think? Can you predict what's a question I could ask you?
No,
go ahead. How many marbles what? Cylinder? You can call it the cup if you like. Well, how many? You just count, right?
Yeah.
1, 2, what? 13? That's too easy. I could ask that, but I'm not going to. It's too easy. What else would I ask you, do you think? With this?
How much the water rises?
How much the water rises? That's a great question. I think it's one of them, actually. What's something else I could ask you? Yeah?
How much does the water rise when you add blank marbles?
Sure. It's actually a good question. That's one of them. Yeah?
How much water was there before you add any marbles?
Very good. That's actually one of the questions. You guys are getting them. That's really good. There's something else I'm thinking too. What else can I ask you? Did the marbles get bigger? Magic. I could, but I'm not going to. Something about the marbles. What else can I ask you about the marbles? I could. How many marbles would it take to make the water go to the top?
Yeah.
Or a certain amount. You're right. But I'm going to ask you, actually, I can pick any height. You're right. One of the questions I'm going to ask you guys is really to find how many marbles do I need to add to actually rise the water all the way to the top? So how about this? In your groups again, you have no data right now. So now you're just really taking a wild, well, hopefully an educated guess. How many marbles do you think it would take to have the water rise to the top? So far I have 13 marbles. What's that? We're going to figure that out in a second. Just take a guess. What do you think? Just talk in your groups, you guys. How many marbles to rise the water all the way to the top? Okay, now it's 14. What do you guys think? Okay. You what? Talk about it. Let's talk right now. What do you guys think? What do we think? What do you guys think? Okay. Maybe more. And this one, what do you guys think? Okay. Actually, doesn't have so straight in that. Ever? I don't think so. What if I more? Okay, you figure it out. All right, guys, let's finish our conversation. Okay. So, a strategy, you guys. What are some strategies? Let's just come up with some strategies. How do you think you can solve this problem? Meaning, the marbles. How many marbles do I need to add to have the water to the top? There is a certain amount of marbles. It will. Do you guys agree if I keep on adding marbles, eventually the water will come to the top? Like you do what? Ice in water? Oh yeah, ice cubes. You put them in water, then you can, yeah, you're right. It will eventually. You'll have to figure out the number. Well, what's the strategy? Well, how can I solve this problem? Do what? Write an equation? Okay, sure.
Was a displacement prior to
besides equations? What's that?
Finding the volume.
Finding the volume, okay. Besides equation and volume, what do we think? Anything else? Any other ways that you can think of? In math-related ways? What'd you say? You can do a chart? You could do a chart. Okay, so you guys' strategy, it's kind of up to you. You can really, I don't want to tell you what to do. You can really pick whatever way you want. But for all of these ways, this is the only thing that I do request, is that you guys either show your work, or if you don't want to show your work, just explain what you did. So, what I'm going to give you guys in a second is the data, the number of marbles, and the height. You have the data, the chart here. The discussion questions we just went over, but I do want you guys, if we're going to work in partners, is to also write your answers, okay, for complete sentences. On the back side is where I want you guys to show or explain your mathematical reasoning, okay? So either one, show your work or explain whatever you're doing, any method you want. So one of the questions, you guys, is going to be to find the height of the water when there are 67 marbles. In the chart here, you'll notice it's a question. So you're basically finding the height of the water when there are 67 marbles in the cylinder. Okay, that's one of the questions. Another question is going to be, Fernando, you said this. Find the initial water level when there's no marbles. Okay? I actually measured it a couple days earlier today. Third one. So, find the number of marbles you need to drop in the glass, what we said, to raise it to the top. That's one of the questions. And then one more. Oh, I didn't tell you this, guys. The height of the cylinder, you need this information. The height of the cylinder is 16 centimeters. I actually measured it. 16. We'll go with 16. Okay? To make it easy. And then finally, you guys, I want you to, the last question is find the height of the water if I'm going to add 350 marbles. Okay? So all of these questions are on the back side. So what you guys are going to do, just work with partners to answer those discussion questions. Those should only take a couple minutes, and then the 4 questions on the back. Do we all know what we're doing? Yeah. Okay? Okay. So you guys want to work in partners, so go ahead and write your names. And they did. Okay. Would you like to do a couple of 3? Or do you want to do 2 different sheets? So you can see? But if you want to work together, so right? Alright. 2 next to you guys. So. Or go this way? 2? Alright. Put all this away now. Oh, you guys, I did not tell you. Remember the activity we did yesterday, the round table?
Yeah.
I'm going to take that and this one, and I'm going to combine it to make a project grade. Okay, so make sure you show all your work, explain it properly on here. Okay, I'm going to take both for a project grade. All right, there's the period.